You're listening to From a Certain Point Askew, the only Star Wars podcast to exclusively do episodes of The Bad Batch, week by week. Yep. Only one, Darth Mathias. That's right.
That's it. Oh, okay.
Jason the Angry Ginger Jedi Guy, that's me, broadcasting live from inside Wookiee Poo Studios. I'm not alone. You just heard him. He's on the mic. He's on the Skype screens. We're going to talk Bad Batch and other things. Darth Mathias, how the hell are you?
I'm great. I feel like I've seen stuff on Twitter where other people do cover the show, but
no.
As far as you're concerned,
it's fake news. Yeah. It's a lot of there's those bots on Twitter they keep talking about. It's lies.
It's all the bots.
Yeah.
You just got back from a massive trip. I want to know how Vegas went.
Vegas was great. We went hiking for a couple of days, and then we were in Utah. We were at Mount Zion National Park.
Zion National, yeah.
I got the Star Wars in the head there. But we climbed this huge ass mountain to get sunrise pictures. We took the kids, and there's a couple spots where, you know what, one little slip and we'd have had less kids. So yeah, it was a little freaky, but it was probably one of the best vacations I could think of in a long time. Exhausting though. We got stuck out in the desert one day because we're like, we'll just keep going. We're looking for this one part. I can't remember what the hell it's called, and it was like in Satan's fucking butt crack or whatever. I don't remember what the hell the name of it was called, but it was over 100 degrees, which probably isn't that warm for people who've been there, but it's only, April, you know?
Yeah.
So it was, we went through 2 of those Nalgene things of water, and our backpacks had like 2 liters in each of water, with the straws.
Yeah.
And we're just fighting our way to get back. But a lot of sunburn, a lot of fun, though. Yeah, it was great.
You guys were out there looking for moisture farmers and like trying to avoid Tusken Raiders and shit?
Yeah. I needed a blurg to get back.
You should have been making the crate dragon sound.
There's actually, I took a picture. I'll put it up on Twitter. We got far enough out. There was like this, one of the first like big rocks. Looks like a mountain, but it looks like the Jawa fucking little tank thing, the shape of
transporter.
it. Yeah. So I took a picture, like you can, like from the ground, you can see the ground, and then you see this little thing spiking up at the end of the picture. So yeah, I'll post that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw some of the pictures. It looked like a fun trip. Kyle pushes you because she loves those hikes. I mean, she's done so many on her own.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
And I've only done one, I think, before with her. We've kind of gone out and done things, but she was in her element. She loved every bit of this, and the kids loved it. First time we took them out to do this, and then the Vegas part was relaxation mostly. Couple of drinks, but a lot of pool, a lot of just kind of hanging out and eating food.
You went to the Sphere.
Oh, dude, the Sphere is like next level.
That's what I've heard.
It's there's one movie, Darren Aronofsky did a movie called Postcards from the Edge of Earth or something it's called, and it's sort of like it tells the story of us going to other planets because we destroyed our own is basically the message, right?
Uh-huh.
But throughout, like it kind of goes across the whole Earth. Shows like elephants in Africa and people in like these amazing churches and like the dying like Aztec. Civilizations born and reborn and died and everything, really cool what they've done. But like visually it starts out, it's just, you're like in a movie theater, even though you're inside of this fucking sphere. And I'm telling Kyle, I'm like, it's gonna, trust me, I've seen bits and pieces of it on, I don't know if it was like a TikTok or what, but I know there was a scene where like the elephants look like you're standing underneath them.
Oh, wow.
So the screen like blows up and it's behind you, above you.
Oh, it's behind you also.
Well, kind of, depending on where you're sitting, you have to look like, not completely behind you, but you got to look up and back a little bit. But like there's certain shots where things are coming over you, or going past, or the way things are shot. And I can see this being like the next, like if you want to keep asses in seats in theaters, even build smaller ones of these. But there's certain shots where I'm like, you could do an action movie like this. You could bring this in. Like I fell in love with it. It was $114 and we had the cheap seats.
Holy shit. So, yes, I was going to ask because the thing you see all the time about the Sphere is the U2 show.
Right.
But that's, I assume that's its own thing. And then they all, just during the day, they play movies and different things like that.
Yeah. I think that's the only thing they've developed so far is just that movie. I think it plays 3 or 4 times a day, depending on if there's an event going on or not.
Yeah.
Maybe then during the day. But yeah, the outside, everyone knows the Sphere from like, the emoji looking at the planes coming in or whatever, or there's the famous one of the NBA basketball and the car driving on the road and it's just like, it looks like it's rolling at you.
Yeah.
But it's just nothing but advertisement. There's really cool things they do. Like there's a fucking Ben and Jerry's ice cream ad, And I'm like, I think there's $750,000 for a 60-second ad on those things.
Oh my
right?
God.
Yeah.
Is that, well, I mean, I guess it makes sense considering how much exposure you're going to get.
Yeah. Look how many eyeballs are getting on that. And there's people just there just to see what the sphere is showing, So
yeah.
you know, it's like it's probably the best advertising you can get. But going in there, it's like I think it was 4 or 5, like huge, probably like any escalator you've been on, do that by times 2. And then you get to the next floor, and then you go up, and we were up on the 400th, so the 4th floor. And then you come, but it's daunting. Like you walk in there, and you feel like you're gonna fucking barrel roll right off into the, into the abyss. Like this
is quite a heights test for you this trip.
Deep, yeah. It was like we get there, and I'm like, oh my God. So we take all these escalators and we go in, but then it's like 18 or 19 rows up we have to go up, and I go, we got to hike again.
Yeah.
So here we go up this thing, and Kyle's like ready to, even in her seat. I was like, "You want me to put my arm around you like it's a seatbelt?" Because she's getting vertigo from it. She's, I don't like this at all.
So you're like almost, your feet are almost on the shoulders in front of you, like you're stacked.
Pretty close. Yeah. It's like stadiums. You've been there. You got the cup holder down there, but it's so stacked. Like you got to reach down to get your drink. Like you're not. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy.
It's an amazing thing. A Star Wars movie, just watch it. And the weird thing is it's not 3D, but because of the way the screen is faced, and the first time when it goes from widescreen, it's telling your story, and then all of it says, "Remember Earth," and it shows a shot of Earth. And it keeps, you think it's zooming in on it, but really it's growing and it's coming out at you. And it starts taking up the whole, that's the first time it leaves the widescreen. And all of a sudden you're thinking, Jesus, this is like 3D, the way that it expands and moves on you to your eyes. You think you're seeing a 3D image. It's amazing.
Well, and it sounds like maybe it is better to be toward the back because you get the full scope of it with having to stick your head everywhere.
Well, and then we're looking it up because we're like, my buddy Josh, who lives out there, he says, shout out Josh and his daughter, they listen to the show still. And he says, he says, he says, how many seats do you think are in this? And I'm looking around, I was like, maybe 20,000. So we're looking it up, and I think that's what it was. It was 20,000. But then when you're reading it, it says there's 10,000 of the seats are total immersion, like the sound, everything. Oh. And then when that movie kicks in, there are some big ass booms. And I don't think we paid the cheap seats, but it fucking felt like it was going to catapult us out of the seats, man. It was like, I go, if these aren't the immersion seats and the people who paid money to have, you got to be buckled in. It's crazy.
That's okay. Wow, that's wild.
Totally worth it.
Gonna have to do that.
Yep.
It's been a while since I've been to Vegas, but I have to do that. I did also see a shot of you guys at Top Golf, and we need to work on that golf swing of yours.
Dude, I wasn't even trying to golf though. Well, first of all, I am sunburnt like a motherfucker, and we're out there just horsing around, and I'm like not doing a full swing. I just want to like clip it because it's not that big of a thing, But. Yeah. And then I realize I'm being recorded and I'm getting fucking pissed. And they shut the recording off, right? And I get so mad because I hit it and it goes up into the net, right? And then I do it and it goes up in the net again. I turn around the recording me. I go, you motherfuckers. I put the ball down and I hit that damn thing so hard. Everyone starts laughing. I turn around. I go, now you're not recording? Because they all shut their phones off. I was pissed. But yeah, it was a good time. And yes, please work on my shot because I've golfed maybe 5 times in my life, and it's probably been 5 or 6 years since I've been out. So
we'll have to do the FACBA golf tournament.
There we go. Oh yeah, let's get the listeners together.
All right, we are a Star Wars podcast, folks.
We are.
Just to remind you, if you want to find our show from a certain point at skew.com, we're on Twitter at FACPApod, or you can email the show facpapod@gmail.com. We have a voicemail line, which Max Rebo was saying he was having trouble with, but I'll double check that and see what's going on. But it's 678-FACBA77. I guess what it does is it makes you say your name first when you call. Like it says, what's your name?
Right.
Then you have to say the name, and then it allows you to go through and do the recording. But he was having some sort of issue, so I'll look into it.
All right.
All that to say, we really like the interaction. We love when people talk to us and send us stuff, whether that's, making fun of us or asking us questions or whatever you want. But you do get rewarded for that by getting entries into our giveaway. And we are doing a giveaway, which is coming up toward the end here. And you can win some 1980s era Kenner action figures. I should write this down because I stumble through this every single time. Prune Face, Rancor Keeper, the Emperor, etc. So please participate. I got to say, Jay, I think we might be at a point where we might have to push the volume 2 of FACBA Stories out. I don't think we're going to pull it together in time.
Yeah, what do we got? We got a week. I'm back from vacation, and
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. All right, let's push it. Because we've got, one story that's been brought in, and then the one that I've written. I've got a few going, but nothing finished except for the one.
Right. And the other story we have from Ash, she hasn't sent it over yet. So I think if we give a little more time, I think we'll make a better episode out of it. Not to mention summer could be a little light on content anyway. So we'll push it to the summer and do it then. But still encouraging people to send in stories that they have, make up some fun stories kind of from that, or in that from a certain point of view style.
Yeah.
All right. What's in the show?
Well, first of all, I want to give an apology just in case. It looks like Max Rebo is still communicating with us, but I couldn't tell if I pissed him off the other day on Twitter when he found out that I was, what did I say? Something. He's like, oh, I didn't see this part on Twitter. And I was like, we're just bullshitting. So if he took it seriously, I'm just,
I think he's got pretty thick skin.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm just double checking.
That's
I don't
good.
want to piss off any of our listeners and have them go away. Just playing. I'm just playing my angry ginger roll.
Well, he has responded to the question of the week and sent in a couple of Maul bags, so I think he's doing just fine.
All right. Well, then, you know what? I take my apology back. On the show today, we've got a question of the week. Your dream Star Wars director? I want to know who that is. You know what? I wish I would have saw this earlier, but I can probably come up about 15 right now.
I bet you could.
On the news, Disney Plus reverting to cable TV. This is a weird thing. I'm looking forward to talking to this, see what you think about it. Bad Batch Episode 14, Flash Strike. We'll be covering that. And then we've got 2 emails in the Maul bag.
That's right. So question of the week. Yeah. What director would you like to see dip his or her toe into the Star Wars waters, and what should their story be about? Got a lot of answers, and we'll ask or do you want to go first, or do you want to wait till the end?
I'll go to the end, but I do find interesting that they're all old school directors.
Not all, but many.
Yeah.
First up is Hyperspace Heroes. That would be Brown Leader. He says Martin Scorsese, the driver. He's got a whole story here. In the waning days of the Republic, Jay Igno is I can screw this name up. Is it Nimbanel?
Looks good to me.
That is an undercover cop for the Coruscant police posing as an air taxi driver. He's hired by a crime syndicate 100 levels down to drive the getaway vehicle on a heist. Unbeknownst to him and the criminals, they steal a Sith holocron from the vault they break into, and the owner wants it back. Now, he puts a PS in here, which I didn't see until after I had looked up what a Nimbanel is. And Jay Igno is actually a character in Clone Wars. He's the cab driver when Fives gets in the cab to go to the clone bar, when he finds out about Palpatine's scheme. He's going to go tell people. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like season 5 or something
the
like
one
that?
bar that the clones hang out in, and the one comes out and gets shot in the head?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That one. So he's the one who takes him in the taxi, and that's where Fives is like starts telling him stuff about it. And he's like, yeah, I've heard all the stories or whatever he says.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Scorsese doing a Star Wars film? That would be fucking incredible. And by the way, if you did it with this plot, I think De Niro would have to play the cab driver.
Right. I'm almost like, it would be intense. But I don't know if Scorsese's the right kind of guy, because, well, depending on how much of the criminal underworld you put into this. If you're focusing a lot on the driver himself, I don't know. Does that feel Scorsese enough for you?
Probably not, especially consider. Well, the Jay Igno character is kind of a goofball, so I don't know that that's necessarily the De Niro part. I mean, you got to have DiCaprio in it, right?
Yeah, if it's a Scorsese, you have to, right?
It's required.
Yeah. Who's the?
Maybe he's the Sith.
The director's. I'm losing the director's name right now. Baby Driver.
Oh.
Goddamn! He did Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, you're right. He did. Okay, I'm thinking of
Edgar Wright.
Simon Pegg. Edgar Wright. Is correct.
I can see Edgar Wright doing something like this.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck, he'd be great at it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so immersed. He and Simon Pegg are so immersed in all that pop culture and Star Wars especially that that's a great call. Next up, it's Hyperspace Heroes again.
Sorry, hold on. Sorry, Brown Leader, if I'm putting some production notes on your your pitch here.
I still think a Scorsese film would be interesting. Yeah. Ridley Scott is his next one. This makes a ton of sense. Man. He calls it The Breach. This is during the time frame of the new Jedi Order film that's coming out with Rey. In what is marketed as a standalone film, a long-distance ship of prospectors and scientists from the New Republic go far, far beyond the Outer Rim. At the farthest edges of the galaxy, they come across a small space station in an asteroid field. They don't recognize any of the markings, language, or most of the technology on board. They set off an alarm that awakens a squad of droids that start killing off the crew. Several of the droids board their ship and access the navicomputer. The droids then set off a homing beacon and transmit a message along with the coordinates of Coruscant to their masters, the Yuuzhan Vong, which we've heard this came up in a question of the week not too long ago. Everybody's wanting to see that crew show up. These are the people that were in the The unknown regions, the Yuzon Vong.
Yuzon Vong. Oh, yeah. Okay, the hammerhead looking things.
I think that's right.
Okay.
The ones that, like they were fucked with the Thrawn, the cheese.
Correct.
The cheese people, the blue cheese people.
The blue cheese. Yep. Did you, I mean, he intentionally, I hope that we're not ruining anything, basically just gave us the synopsis of Alien.
Well, so when he started talking about it, I thought, okay, Alien or Aliens, one of the two. That's what it feels like. Obviously, that's Ridley Scott. But he's done everything that would lead into him doing a Star Wars film very easily. I mean, he's old as shit, by the way. He's making Gladiator 2.
Yeah, and he's 82 or 3 years old, I think.
He's mid-80s, I even think.
Look at his record. If you see, I think he was in his 50s when he started directing. Like Thelma and Louise, there was something earlier than that. Did he do Legend? Well, was Ridley Scott Legend with Tom Cruise?
I don't know that he did Legend. He might have. Alien was before that, though.
Right, correct. Yeah. But I mean, they were very...
Blade Runner? You did Blade Runner?
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm still thinking of the right director. If you look...
Well, I mean, that was 40 years ago. So he was probably in his early 40s.
40s, okay. Periodic, though. Like 3-5 years apart. And like, look at the movies he's made in the last 10 years. He goes from one to the next to the next.
Oh, so he just got to stay busy.
Yeah, he is, but he does it flawlessly. Even when he had to go back and what was the movie the Mark Wahlberg movie about the oil tycoon and the kidnapping of the family? I can't remember the name of the film. But what's his face? Kevin. God damn it! I hate podcasting.
Kevin Feige, Kevin Bacon, Kevin.
He was canceled.
Kevin McHale.
He was canceled.
Kevin. Hart?
The killer in Seven.
Killer and oh, Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey was the original like oil tycoon guy, and then because of all that was happening, they went back and reshot.
Right.
With
I
what's his
forgot
face?
About
Lars
that.
von Trier. What's his name from Star Wars?
Lars von Trier.
I can't think of his name.
That's a great name. Yes, they switched it. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Yes, I forgot. Yeah, God, I forgot that was his movie. I didn't realize that. Yeah, so he's a busy motherfucker. Black Hawk Down. He did Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a lot of great films. He would be a good pick. Good picks, Hyperspace Heroes. Next up is Clashing Sabers. It's the easy answer, but that doesn't make it wrong. Christopher Nolan. Now, I 100% agree with this because I would fucking love to see a Christopher Nolan.
Right.
He's one of my favorite directors, so I would love to see him do a Star Wars film. I think that would be amazing. You'd be trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. There'd be a bunch of shit with time going on. It would be very confusing.
Well, to me, I think like his movie would be what Andor has been to Star Wars so far. You wouldn't know what to expect, what's out there. It would be original, even though it's very much Star Wars. I could see Nolan jumping in that, and it would be like, who would be shooting that down?
I don't think anybody would. Now, there was an interview, I think it was last year at some point. It was probably the beginning of the Oppenheimer hype. He was asked by this guy like a bunch of questions. I think the guy was like French or something.
Okay.
He's asking him all these questions. And he goes, okay, we're going to do like a lightning round. I'm going to ask you yes, no, or pass questions. And he asked him, like, would you make a superhero movie again? He goes, no. And he goes, would you make a Star Wars film? And he goes, pauses, pass. Oh,
Okay.
Tasty. I think that would just piss a lot of people off, too. A Christopher Nolan Star Wars film. There would be so many people who'd be like, this is not. They'd be so mad. Next up is Ro from the Scare of Scuttlebutt podcast. He says me. The answer is me, and it's a picture of him behind the camera.
Yep. I would like to see that.
What would this be about, Ro? Would it be a remake of The Last Jedi? He struggles with that film.
He does.
Max Rebo.
Yep.
Hurt Feelings and all. I'd love the previously axed Guillermo del Toro Jabba movie reworked into a Max Rebo movie. He's starting to turn into a Delphi Rangers with the Max Rebo
He really is, yeah.
I mean, I know that's his name, but that's way too big of a story for Max Rebo, no offense. He can be a bit player in a movie, but you can't make the whole movie about Max Rebo.
Well,
Come on.
Can you? Can't you? We don't know.
I guess. I don't know. Speaking of Delphi Rangers, Bryce Dallas Howard working in a Delphi Rangers movie with, of course, bitter Asian dude, Carson Teva, is too obvious to not mention. I mean, we've talked about Bryce Dallas Howard ad nauseum on the show about how we would like to see it, how give her Solo 2, whatever you want to do, give her a project. She's good to go.
It's weird because they announced a few years ago that she was going to do the remake of The Flight of the Navigator. And like, as far as I know, nothing's moved forward with that. Is she working on any of the live action Star Wars now, any of the series? Is she still involved?
I can't remember if she is she a director on an episode of Acolyte? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think so.
She obviously did Mando a couple episodes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought she did anyway.
Hopefully she does stick with Star Wars. Yeah, because we wanted her to do. What was it we were pitching?
I can't remember. We pitched a lot of things on the show.
That's true. That's true.
It's hard to keep it all straight.
I'm all for her. I don't know if Carson Teva can hold an old movie, but I could see them doing how they kind of spin off and focus an episode or two on somebody.
Yeah.
I could see them doing that in The Mandalorian, kind of fleshing out that side of the verse or whatever's going on at the point. So, yeah. Bryce Dallas Howard, she can direct that episode.
Granted.
Yeah.
Norhal says, I'd love to see Alfonso, I'm going to say this wrong, Cuarón, doing a story about the High Republic timeline or even during the early times of the Jedi Order. Now so I had to look him up because I couldn't remember who he was. He did Children of Men.
Yes.
I enjoyed that movie. That was really
good.
And by the way, can we get motherfucking Clive Owen in a Star Wars film, please?
Why, yeah.
I would love to see that. He would do it perfectly.
Agreed.
Get him in there.
Yeah, put those two back on together in a movie, and it'll. I'm interested in why they picked this time though, because seeing Children of Men, like I would want to see more of like around the Andor time, or even around First Order time. More of that political, some strange shit happening, and the realism of it. Like Children of Men is an amazing film.
No, I agree. I mean, certainly he can do more than that style, but I see what you're saying. Children of Men style movie would be, I see that. Ash Rendar says Matt Reeves would be a slam dunk, I think. This makes total sense. He's homies with J.J. Abrams. J.J. could tell him, here's what you do, here's what you don't do.
Right. Yeah. And we can bring the Zillow Beast back, and he can make a Cloverfield-like Star Wars movie.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, he's clearly handled big films, so he could do it. That would be a good choice. Wax on, wax off news says Spielberg doing a war movie similar to, I left it in as Rouge One. Rouge One / Andor. I'm always up for another war film. I think you could do a Spielberg film. You could do like a Saving Commander Cody.
Oh, yeah.
That style film.
Sold.
Next is Subtle Deviancy. First time we've heard from them. Jackie Chan, how Jedi were first trained in the art of warfare. Interesting.
Yeah.
He has directed a bit, right?
Chan, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's directed a bunch of his own movies.
There's a new Karate Kid coming out at the end of this year. Did you know that?
Yeah, they're blending the movies and the TV series into like one verse.
Wow. I haven't watched the only thing I ever watched from the what's it called? Cobra Kai show was the first episode, and then I just like never watched the rest of it. I heard it was pretty entertaining.
It is entertaining. I mean, there's some cheese ball to it, but a lot of nostalgia. It's fun.
And they kind of don't they just throw like everybody you want in there? It's like
when Elizabeth Shue comes back, you're like, oh yeah,
the crush is back.
Yeah, and never has a line been any better than it's the news reporter at the school, and she's like, and what can only be described as an all-out karate riot. I fucking had to pause it and rewind. I was like, did she just say that? The whole school breaks out into this like karate kung fu fight.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Everybody from the dojos, they go at it, man. And this news reporter, her line.
Did they play that song? Did they play Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting?
Oh, they should have. They should have.
I looked it up because I was like, wait a minute, what? And you're right. It's him. It's Jackie Chan. It's LaRusso. It's Joshua Jackson and Ming-Na Wen. Isn't it? Yep.
Yeah, they were the parents of the new kid or something? But now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Karate Kid was kind of a remake, the one with Jackie Chan, because wasn't he Miyagi?
That's what I thought. Okay. But I only saw like bits and pieces when it was on. I caught it on cable. We'll get to that in a minute. And I just saw bits and pieces of it. So I don't know the whole story. But that was my assumption, was that it was just kind of a redo.
That's what I thought too, yeah.
Next is AT Driver says, I'd go with Neil Blomkamp or Guillermo del Toro. So I had to look up Neil Blomkamp to remind myself who that is.
District 9.
You know who that is. I still have never seen District 9. I've only heard good things.
It's amazing. He was attached to a live action Halo movie back when they were struggling. It was going to be kind of low budget. If you go to YouTube, he did like a proof of life concept. It's like 10 minutes long.
Sorry. It's just proof of concept. But I love that it was proof of life concept.
I had Russell Crowe and Meg Ryan in my head.
I have this concept. Listen, stay with me.
Proof of concept. Life later. But no, he did, and it's very like, I think it's like 10 minutes long. But it was like what his Halo would be like. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did Elysium, which I enjoyed. He did. I have not seen Gran Turismo, but I've heard it's really good.
What was the one he did that Hugh Jackman was the villain in, and those two crazy Aussie, like, what was the band? They had this weird fucking song out. They were in it. Elfie? Was it called? No, I can't remember. It was about this fucking robot. And that sort of looked like what his Halo movie was going to be.
Okay. Yeah, that rings a bell. Huh. Yeah. Well, finally, last one. This is from Loki Jarson. Hear me out, George Lucas. Now, this is an interesting one. And it's something I almost put in the news section, but figured we could just discuss it here. Because recently, Roger Christian, who people would know worked on A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Phantom Menace, etc., won an Academy Award for A New Hope. He was on some twat's YouTube channel. Not going to say his name.
Oh, that twat. Okay.
Not going to say his name.
All right.
And he had a very interesting comment. He said, quote, I think he's coming back. You know, I'm pretty sure now that he's doing a series. I think they're now bringing him into the fold, from what I hear, because there's a Star Wars live action series coming. I mean, this guy knows Lucas. What?
Yeah, but he sounds like he might have fucking dementia, because there's been a couple of live action series that have come and gone. No offense.
He's in his 80s, I think, this guy.
Yeah.
No offense, Roger Christian. We're not going to get him on the show now.
Well, I don't mean like it just doesn't make any.
Are you the assholes that said I had dementia?
Yeah. No offense about your dementia. Like,
yeah, let's not bury the lead.
I feel like something's taken out of context is what I'm saying. Like, that does not make sense. That quote does not make sense.
It doesn't. But that being said, he's a massive stockholder in Disney. He has recently come out like in huge support of Bob Iger.
Mm-hmm.
Is he softening with his relationship? Would he entertain the idea of, you know what, maybe one more time, maybe one more spin? I
don't know, because isn't Lucas close to 80?
He is.
He's busy with that museum. Like, for him to throw himself back into Star Wars for at least 3 years.
Well, or does he make a movie or does he make a series? And the series, maybe you don't need to put as much time into it. Or he talks to Filoni and says, I want to work with you on something. Let's partner on something.
Sure. Oh, wouldn't that be amazing?
Let's partner on your movie.
Well, I was going to say, wouldn't that be amazing if they wrote it together?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
See, I could see him coming in and doing like directing an episode or taking part or being more than a consultant type thing, you know, but I don't know. That's going like you. It just seems like they've gone so far where Lucas would be like, you'd almost have to train Lucas about what the hell's going on lately.
Right. Well, and that's why I can see it and I can't see it, because for him to come in and direct one episode of a show, I don't think he could do that, because he would want to control it. Like he even talked about in an interview not long ago, or maybe it was long ago now, I don't remember, but it was when he was talking about when The Force Awakens was happening and he was talking to them about it. And he realized, I'm getting in the way because I don't think what they're doing is what I would do.
Yes.
And I'm just going to make this worse. So I'm just going to fucking check out. Yep. So I wonder if he would be able to jump back into that and have to work within the confines of where they are now. Mm-hmm. That would be kind of tricky. But that's why if it's a collaboration with Filoni, it maybe works.
To jump back into everyone's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I'm not against it at all. I mean, let me say that. I'd love to see him do something.
Sure.
But that's the thing is, like, does he want all the like I can see him putting all that, like, who gives a fuck? Like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do anyways, right?
Yeah.
I created this shit. If you like it, you don't, whatever. But I mean, I hope that'd be cool. But
the fervor it would kick up within the Star Wars community would be incredible.
Right. Oh yeah. For the next year, everyone's like, he's just coming in and doing this, but really he's taking Kathleen Kennedy's job. Like, it'll just like
it would be that. It would be it would be like the people who hated the prequels shitting on what was going to come. It would be the people who loved the prequels saying like, no, this is real Star Wars. It's back. It would be such a fucking mess. It would be wonderful to discuss.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for questions of the week. Thank you. Y'all get entries. Appreciate it. News, just one item here. So this is a bit of a different one because it's not just Star Wars related, but it plays into it. So there was recently a report that Disney's looking into introducing an always on or multiple always on channels on Disney Plus. You know, in addition to going to the app and just picking the movie or show you want, they would have channels that are playing stuff that they decide on, that the program is just like television.
Yeah.
And it cracks me up because there was this move, of course, over the last 15-ish years, whatever, to cut the cord and get away from cable. And then the joke has become, well, yeah, but by the time you start adding all these streaming services
paying
up,
more than cable, yeah.
Are you paying more than cable? I mean, cable's fucking expensive.
Yeah.
But you're doing this a la carte thing and it adds up and gets expensive. Now, granted, you could say, well, I'm only paying for the things that I really want. Like as somebody who has cable still, like, no offense, Brian Hour, I'm never going to go to the Hallmark Channel. So I really don't need it.
Right.
And so with streaming services, you can do that. You can pick and choose the ones you want and don't want. So that makes more sense. But I'm curious how you watch shows today, because I know you watch a lot of Netflix. I know you watch, a lot of Disney Plus. Do you still have cable, and do you still flip around on cable, or is it primarily?
I haven't had cable in like probably 7 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, at least. But I have all the fucking, because when I was doing 7 Days a Geek, I had all of the streamers. I still do.
Apple TV, Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some of them I watch like, one or two things on, and then when I got to wait a year for something else. Every once in a while, I'll be like, well, I have it. Let me see what's on there, and I'll find something. And there's a lot of good things. I would say Peacock is probably the one that I watch the least, and Paramount Plus is like, unless you're into Taylor Sheridan TV, that's about all you're getting. That's brand new, except for every once in a while a new movie will drop from them. So yeah, not much from them, but yeah, I just watched like all the streamers.
Yeah, with Paramount, it's like, save it up till there's 2 or 3 of those Taylor Sheridan shows, binge it on the free trial,
right,
and then cancel.
And that's really what I've thought about. But this, like with the Disney thing, Netflix started this for a while. Didn't Netflix have like when you go on, you could just have them pick something for you, which is kind of the same thing? Like,
did they?
This is like rerun TV, right? Like you're going to go in and there's going to be probably like a Disney Junior channel, which is just all their old things that played on that. And then,
Pixar,
each night at 8, so it's
Star
just,
Wars, Marvel.
It's not costing them anything to do this. It's just kind of a smart marketing thing, if you ask me.
Well, it's another way for them to introduce ads. I mean, there's several things. There's several angles of this I wanted to kind of get into, and one is that, because for me, still having cable, and I've heard Chris Villasenor bring this up. He's like, sometimes it's nice to just flip around and be like, oh fuck, that's on. Like the number of times I flip around and go, Spy Game's on, I'll watch. Yeah. I mean, it happens all the time.
Spy Game?
Spy Game is always on.
Yeah, but I do the same thing. When I used to have cable, I would have to pause. I would have to watch it every time I saw it.
Yes. And so that happens. And so there's an interesting debate, or not debate even, but just like, I don't know, dilemma where people say, okay, well, yeah, now I have everything at my fingertips. I can go watch any show I want to watch and stream it. Holy shit, I'm overwhelmed. What do I even start with? Where do I go?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's difficult. I go to that Netflix screen and I'm like, I don't even know where to start. Mm-hmm. You can look at the newest and all that stuff. You can look at this, that, or the other, or stuff you've added to your list. But I mean, it's almost like you're at a party and somebody's like, "Hey, you be the DJ and start picking songs off Spotify." Yeah. I'm like, "Holy shit, that's a lot of pressure." Like, I don't even know where to start.
I guarantee you, I would watch more from Netflix or more from Prime if I only had 1 or 2 streamers, or only that one. Yeah, you're right, because it's even without feeling overwhelmed, it's almost like channel surfing in a different way, because you spend more time looking to see what's on there, or I'm kind of in the mood for that, but let me see what else there is, and then 10 minutes later you're like, I could have watched a TV show.
So you go specifically to a service specifically to watch a certain show or movie, and it's different than just channel surfing, where I go to the guide and I'm just like flipping through it. I'm like. Mm-hmm. Oh, USA Network, Star Wars is on, Return of the Jedi's on. I'll fucking watch the last 20. Or it's one of those things too where you'll be flipping through and it's like, whatever. Like I flip by TBS and it's like, oh, there's 20 minutes left in Major League. Yeah, I'll watch the last 20 minutes of Major League. I don't want to watch the whole movie right now.
Wild thing.
But do you know what I mean? Like getting those little bits sometimes is all you need to just kind of satiate your need for entertainment for 20, 30 minutes and then move on.
Yeah, right. I know what you're saying.
So it's a weird situation. I've been wanting to cut the cable cord for so long.
Do it. You won't feel bad at all.
The problem is, one, how many streaming services am I going to have? Now, granted, I have a couple now. The other is, I still feel like live sports is a problem. YouTube TV does it sort of well, I guess. You can, there's ESPN Plus. There's different things you can do, but cable makes live sports very easy, and that's one of the other reasons why I'm hesitant to dump it.
Because like what's Hulu has baseball, Prime has Thursday night football or Monday night, and then. Well, there was another one of them that was playing it, but it also depended on what team was playing, because they only play like 1 or 2. So, and you watch a lot of sports, so
exactly.
I'm surprised there's not we're way in the woods now, but there's not a cable sports package like that's all you could buy.
Well, there is a cable sports add-on, but you have to have like a certain package to then add that onto. Yes. That's the problem. And so you're already getting dinged for that. I mean, we could get deep into how stupid all the cable fees are. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah. And I'm not saying like I'm some big cable guy. I'm just saying there's a part of me, because I think the era I grew up in, that is just so accustomed to being able to flip and jump in and out of shows and not have to make that decision, because I'm fucking lazy, I guess, to just be like, oh, that's on. I'm going to watch a little bit of that, So anyway, We'll see how it goes. I'm
So are
interested
you
to see how this
yay
pans
or
out.
nay on the Disney Plus channels?
Why not? Try it out.
Okay.
Like, I don't care. I mean, I don't know that I would necessarily keep it on all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, you could flip by and just be like, sure. What's the latest? You know,
Sure.
I could see that. I don't know that I would say, I'd almost say like, just make an all up Disney Plus channel too. Like, so if there's a Marvel show on or a Star Wars show on or a Pixar, not just make me go, I just want to see all Star Wars shows.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is they could create as many channels as they want to because all they have to do is like make a lineup and fucking hit play and you can just jump in at any time. But that would be kind of cool to go to the Star Wars channel and then something's playing and you just watch it.
Yeah. Resistance? Nope.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch, episode 14, Flash Strike. Now, if you're going to start the series off with an action-packed 75-minute episode back in episode 1, season 1, you better finish with one.
I feel like they're holding out. Remember a couple weeks ago someone said that there was like a secret bonus episode?
Yes.
There might be some truth to that. There might be like, hold on tight, folks. May 4th, we've got another episode because I don't know what is going on here.
How are they going to wrap this thing up?
I don't know.
And they're not going to do it in a 25-minute episode.
No, hell no.
Not to mention, I was looking back at the season 1 and 2. They were always like 29, 30 minutes. And yes, I know that includes credits. The last like 4 out of 5 are like 23, 24, 25. It's like they're getting shorter. Like, what are we doing here?
They're getting shorter and they're getting very, very like laser focused on a certain character in what's going on. They're not bouncing around too much, you know, like almost, I would say this whole episode was pretty much just her hanging out with the kids again.
Well, this episode,
I guess it was,
this episode has kind of 3 storylines. It's a little different, but I get what you're saying. I don't know. It makes me think, how the hell are they going to get it like halfway through the infiltration, then just go credits? Like, I mean, we're going to be like, what?
Yeah.
And the behind the scenes is going to be like, we weren't really sure how to wrap it up, so we just thought we'd leave it totally open.
I mean, this is almost becoming like the Game of Thrones season finale. Like things are happening. It's been good, but it feels not rushed, but like, and look, we haven't seen the ending yet, so we don't know, but I just don't see how they're going to wrap up all these threads. And we've talked about it. We don't think they're going to. We think these threads are going to lead to something else. But even leaving threads loose, there's just so much going on. So I guess we'll get into it and we'll have some speculation at the end. But there's a lot to wrap up with here.
Yeah, we'll get to the predictions at the end. But yes, it's one of those things where you think and again, you always have to temper things with, okay, we start to build up these things in our head that are going to happen.
Sure.
All the fucking clones are going to come in and attack Mount Tantus. And then we're like, how's that going to happen in one episode? Well, it's probably not going to happen.
The title was Cavalry, and
it is the Cavalry.
They've hinted at that. Like that was their whole when Echo and.
But maybe it's not an all-out assault war. Maybe it's just like.
Well, yeah, most of them were wiped out a couple episodes ago.
They were. So maybe it's a smaller unit. It's just Rex and that crew that comes in, and they just the whole goal is just to get them out, and that's it. You know, and that's fine. But it's just, I think we've built it up like there's going to be this massive, huge epic battle to end the series, and I don't think that's really what's going to happen.
With it being so like self-contained or laser focused on her alone, really, I guess the fulfilling ending is to get her out in a way, and that's I guess and
leave her story open to do whatever you want with it.
Right.
In the future.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into it. So the batch is en route to Tantus, and Hemlock's notified that they infiltrated the space station.
Yep.
And that they could be tracking the ship. So he's like, okay, let's get fucking fighters in the air. You know, he's very calm and ready.
Shout out to someone that's in charge that actually like can
figured
fucking
it out.
Handle something. Yeah.
I know.
Like he's got a few guys that like, hey, by the way, these guys were seen on this planet and they mysteriously disappeared the same time this ship was headed here. We think they're coming. He's like, okay, well, let's do this.
We have crazy tech. And so we actually do have cameras that we watch them walk right in.
Right.
So we're pretty sure. And then, so right when they detach, the fighters pick them up and start firing, and then we get the laser cannons, which look just like the ones in the Death Star.
Yeah. You know what's cool. Crazy though? They introduced this whole we can go unnoticed if all we do is turn the power off on the ship and dive bomb like Fee does. And I thought they were going to replicate that. Like they got that idea. Instead, they turn the engines on and like,
right
fuck
away.
You.
Right away. I don't know that it would have mattered because the fighters were alerted to their presence anyway.
True.
So,
that's true.
But you're right. The closest thing we get to the Fee move is when he does kills the engines and fucking drops, does the dead drop, 0G.
Yeah, that was the Mando move, man.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Ray did that also. A lot of people have done that move. we go to a quick shot of Omega in the vault, and they're starting to lock the base down, and she's like, she feels the trembling. Mm-hmm. She's like, my brothers are here or whatever. My brothers came for me.
Was that Jennifer Corbett's tease on Twitter? Was the water cup?
Yes. So
was
I
it
sent
the chips
you that
on the table.
I think it was the chips on the table, but we also were thinking, I wonder if this is a reference to the Zillow Beast, which we get that too.
Yeah, we do.
So it works in both levels. Mm-hmm. So then Emerie is informed of the lockdown, and she's like, okay, I'm going to go secure the lab. Dr. Scalder is the name of that person.
Yeah.
Thank you, Max Rebo and others. Emerie tells Scalder, like, okay, you protect the children, and I'm going to go, secure the lab. And Scalder goes, your concern for the specimens is unwarranted. And Emerie gives her this look like, bitch.
You think there's going to be a girl fight?
I hope so. I hope they fight.
I think the claws are coming out. I think they're going to kill each other, or they're going to go for the kill, right? And I think Car's going to kill her, and she's going to take her glasses off and put it on her face. And then she's going to put her hair in a fucking tight ponytail, and she's going to walk out of there.
Or is she going to get punched? Emerie's going to get punched in the glasses. It's going to break her glasses, and that's really going to set her off. You know how fucking expensive these things are? Back to the batch. They're just taking hit after hit. Hunter does that move. And then it kind of gives him enough time to like go, fly low and jump out of the fucking vehicle or whatever, the ship. Now, a lot has been made about Rampart Scream and how maybe it could replace the Wilhelm scream. Yeah. It is so good. It's just this, like the voice acting in this episode for Rampart is really good. Like he does the desperation, holy fuck, get me out of here really, really well. So kudos to him. And then, we kind of, for the rest of the episode, we kind of have these three storylines going in parallel. Echo trying to sneak into the base, the Batch trying to kind of do the same and avoid the troopers, and then Omega looking for an escape. So I think we'll go through them each like separately. It makes it a little bit easier.
Okay.
So the Batch first. They meet up on the ground. We get the funny line where Hunter's like, they ask Hunter, did Rampart make it? Unfortunately, yes. Again, we get a die. Heard that. The Empire lands at the crash site and finds the ship abandoned, so they start searching. And then we get this interesting exchange with Rampart and Crosshair, where Rampart's like, I thought you'd kind of be like more like me because, we don't show loyalties to other people other than ourselves. And Crosshair says, he's changed, and Rampart sarcastically says, sure you have. So what does that mean? Is that foreshadowing? Are they trying to make us think that Crosshair is eventually going to revert back to looking out for himself and fucking them over? Because I don't think
that might be a good, like, a way people are taking that. It's like kind of the obvious look, but to me, I think it's more of he's in denial, the fact that he's changing.
Oh, I see. The Rampart's changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because I don't see Crosshair changing at this point. I think he's pretty dialed in. He's like 100% loyal to Omega and all that. Later, they're trying to kind of figure out which way to go. Rampart, of course, leans into the goddamn monster. Wakes up the monster. Yeah. I think this was the same monster we saw when Omega and Crosshair tried to escape and the dogs attacked it. Remember that? The monster came after them. Was it the
same one? Okay.
Maybe not. I thought it was.
This guy looks a little bit bigger and a little more. I don't remember the yellow on the other one, but okay.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. But certainly some nasty beast that's trying to kill them.
I love how Wrecker's like, I'll fight you.
He just jumps on his neck and it's like, woohoo!
Yep.
And then he basically gets another concussion.
Right, yeah. Dude's head, man.
Yeah, they're kind of trying to fend him off. And meanwhile, Rampart goes running and scared into the forest. Now, this like totally gave me Paul Reiser and Aliens vibes. Like, I thought he was going to run, and then run right into a beast and get fucking killed.
Oh, okay. No, not that easy. He runs right into... I forget. Was it? Do we see him again? Does he run into troopers, or was it the Bad Batch? Yeah, because it was troopers.
The troopers find him. He trips. He does the usual runaway trip thing, and then he looks up, and the troopers. Some troopers.
It was like shadowed though, so I couldn't.
Yeah, okay. So he's being taken back to the base. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how his bit plays out in the finale. Omega, she is taking the lockdown as an opportunity. Like, everybody's fucking busy and not taking our vitals. I'm gonna go get into the walls and start seeing where this shit goes. Yep. And so she gets in there. Well, but first she tells the kids, like, hey, I'm going to do this. You got to cover for me. I love how they're like, cover for you? Yeah. What does that mean?
They have been there a while.
Yes, they do not. Well, they're young. They don't know this shit.
Right.
So she says, okay, well, if the doctors come, like, stall them. Okay. So she gets into the shaft and she starts, like, following wherever those little blood sample dumbwaiter things are going to see if she can find the source and how to get out. And in the end, she comes across the Zillow Beast, which obviously just sets up that's got to be the distraction of some sort to get her out. They're going to somehow release that Zillow Beast. It has to be that way. But they're fucking just zapping that thing.
Well, it's going to make it grow, right?
It does make it grow.
Yeah.
Right? So just trying to make it bigger. Omega, while she's off running around, Dr. Scalder shows up to get their vitals. And we see some great teamwork here by the kids because Sammy's like, I'm hungry. And she's like, too fucking bad. and then Eva is like, I don't feel good. I mean, these are all like the things that you've experienced your child saying to you where you're like, grow up.
Yep. When you want to take them to bed, I'm really hungry. Can I have a snack?
No. In the morning you can't. I don't feel good. Bullshit. You're going to school. I mean, it does slow her down enough to like do a scan on her.
Just
so it gives her a little bit of time. Yep. And then Jax even jumps in the end. He's like, can I go next? She's like, you wait your turn.
Yep.
The way they make it look with her crawling her way back, there's no way she makes it back.
I know.
But she does. And
there she is again.
Somehow gets the wall patched up. Yep, she does it. And she tells the kids in the end, I found something big and I need your help. So obviously that's going to be the Zillo Beast. Finally, Echo. So while he's still on the science vessel, he realizes it's going to be pretty difficult to infiltrate the base in his outfit.
Yes.
So he's like, okay, so I need to swap outfits with the stormtrooper. And it's the one he stunned in the last episode. And then he's like searching stuff on the computer, maybe for coordinates. I don't know what he's trying to search for. I don't know if he's searching for that or Omega.
Floor plan,
maybe. And this droid walks up and he just blows it away. Just no stun. Just fucking. And I love how he does this because then he notices the droid has a hand that he could use. Because I'm thinking about how the fuck is he gonna like make it through there with his screwdriver hand?
Right.
Everybody's gonna notice that. So he takes the droid's hand and then literally says,
"Thanks for the hand."
Thanks for the hand.
Yep.
Wah, wah. So he makes his way inside the base, finds the lab, and pulls up some info on Omega and a bunch of other clones. That's when Emerie walks in. And she's like, troopers aren't allowed in the base. And she's seeing his arm, and she's like, that doesn't look right.
She catches on right away.
She does. He does a very bad job acting, too. He's like, special check. Everything's fine. We're all fine here. And she says, Echo. And that's when everybody just kind of stops. It was kind of a cool moment.
Right.
Echo. And he's just like, oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Omega told me about you guys. And apparently she had told the boys about Emerie because he's familiar with her. And when he presses her about it and how he's there to like free all the clones they're experimenting on and all this stuff, she does the whole like, I was just doing my job. He says, I've heard that before. And he says, you're a clone like us. Basically, the fuck are you doing?
How dare you? Yeah.
Why would you do this? Like you should be on our side. What the fuck? So she switches and she's been leading this way the whole time. So it's not a surprise.
Right. She
tells Echo Omega's in the vault and he's going to need her help because she's in there with the other children. Children?
Right.
So Echo's even more like, fuck these people.
It just doesn't stop.
No.
I love how they're going to get down in there, and then the kids aren't going to be there. And now he's going to be like, I got to climb in this fucking shaft.
Scalder will be there.
Yep.
And then we get our fight.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, what happened to Echo's Lobot thing around his head? Remember how he had that before? Was it wouldn't fit in the new helmet, so he had to take it off? Like, what was going on there? Because we see his full head.
That's right.
Remember how he had that thing around?
Maybe
like Lobot?
Didn't he have a lot on him when they first rescued him, and slowly but surely some of that stuff was coming off of him?
Well, he had a bunch of shit plugged into his. I mean, that's why he's got those holes in his head. But he even up to the last time we saw him when he got off the shuttle that they stole, he had the thing around his head. So all of a sudden he does. Maybe it's because he couldn't fit in the stormtrooper helmet with it, so he had
just doesn't need it. It's like sunglasses,
Maybe it's because it's sitting there right now on the stunned stormtrooper. The stunned stormtrooper is going to wake up with that thing around his head and this different armor on. He's going to be like, what the fuck happened? And that's it. That's the end of the episode. So let's get into some predictions here of how they're going to wrap this up. So I got a bunch of characters, and I want you to tell me what you think is going to happen to them in the end.
Okay.
Let's play it. Let's do this game.
All right.
So like survive, perish, and how?
Survive, perish, and how? So it's like murder, death, kill?
Not murder, death, kill, but like, are they going to die? Are they going to make it? And how are they going to make it or die?
All right.
So Omega.
Oh, I think Omega's going to be responsible for getting the kids out. They're all going to run into each other at some point, but she definitely survives.
Right. And do you think she uses the Zillo Beast? She's got to use the Zillo Beast in some way.
Yeah, either as a distraction or, they communicate with it. Either, they all, little Jedi hands join forces and talk to this thing, or it's just a distraction and they get out. Yeah,
they jump on the thing's back like fucking Never-Ending Story.
Might be. Yeah, fly that thing right out of there.
Yeah. Hunter, let's go through the batch. Is Hunter gonna make it?
Hunter makes it.
I feel like he is now. Earlier on I didn't think he would, but I think he is now. Wrecker,
I think they're all going to make it except for Crosshair.
Yeah I think Crosshair's gonna die.
And I think Kara is going to go with them.
You do? You think Emerie's going to make it and go with them?
Yeah. Yep. It's going to be like a poly family.
That could work.
It's going to be her and the batch.
Right. Well, they're all brothers and sisters. It works.
Well, yeah. In Star Wars universe, it really works.
Some real crazy shit could go down. Think Scalder's going to die? Is Emerie going to kill Scalder? Or is she just going to beat her to like, the edge of death and then leave her?
I think that they're going to leave. Well, I don't know how that'll work, but in my head, I was thinking that they're going to think that that's how she escapes. She disguises her, just puts her glasses on her, and they think that's Car.
That's a good idea. I mean, so I saw somebody bring that up on a video or something where they were like, so if Omega escapes, nothing will stop the Empire from continuing to come after her. Do they need to fake her death?
Yeah, you're right.
Because otherwise it's going to be a never-ending pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But that's another thing is like, how do you end? Okay, we've saved you. We've gotten you off. But like, what is the end result like with this crew? What do they decide? They can't go retire to Peridia, right?
No.
That's been taken over. There's nothing like that. That's what I'm wrapping.
You mean Pabu?
Pabu, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to Peridia.
Peridia's the from Ahsoka.
Okay, all right.
That's where they go to, yeah.
But they don't. I'm really struggling. Like, what is but a lot of that is because we've created this whole idea of like spin-offs or only because this show seems to be wrapping up and going nowhere fast.
Right. So it seems like there has to be something next. There has to be a next thing. So it's a cliffhanger to a new series. Correct. And then it makes you think, well, then why'd you wrap up the series? Why'd you just do another season?
Right. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Rampart, think he makes it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to be him and Crosshair going down together.
That very well could be, but I also think that maybe he'll be taken as hostage just for some reason. He's got information their little group could use or something to fight the Empire.
I thought it would be fun if they had the parallel moment to Aliens, where Vasquez and the other guy, Gorman or whatever his name is, are in the shaft, and they realize they're trapped. So he just fucking pops a grenade, and they just hold it together and blow up.
Nice.
It's those two. It's Crosshair and Rampart do that.
I want to see Rampart and Hemlock go at it, though.
That'll be a fun exchange to watch those two. Because, yes. You think Hemlock makes it?
There's got to be. Well, I don't know. He's a fun villain.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to kill him off.
It depends. If they blow up the fucking mountain, then no, he's not there. But I feel like that's going to be an open thread to continue. It just feels like too easy. Oh, I mean, every Star Wars ends on a fucking huge explosion and a celebration, right? So very much.
Well, and is that Mount Tantus? Is Mount Tantus going to be destroyed?
Right.
That's another big question, because something has to happen to derail the program. But is it a total destruction of the mountain, or is it just like somebody goes in and fucks that shit up?
And still, there's been no mention of the second one yet.
No, still nothing about the Olympic Village.
Yep.
CX2 show up?
He has to.
I would think so. It seems like a weird thing to build up to not pay off some way.
And if there is anything, if there is a clone of a clone happening, if Crosshair dies, I think that's who we see in the booth that's not done cooking in the oven yet.
What if the CX2, it's Echo again in the vault, and CX2 goes Echo, and it's Tech. And he's like, how many people are going to come up behind me? Everyone just keeps doing it. Echo.
What if they all die, but one of the last things is fucking Hemlock walking into the room and like turning on all of the things, and it's all of them being remade?
Oh, the individual batch?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. There's a wrecker in there and everything?
Right.
That was kind of all I had. Well, and just to get into a theory you shared with me on DM is you were thinking they're going to announce a new series right after this. You think there's going to be a series that is coming out that's already maybe in the can that is coming between Acolyte and Skeleton Crew?
I mean, that's my hope, is that we don't have to wait that long.
Okay.
But even if it's next winter, like they've been releasing these, but I think there's didn't we did a news thing a year or so ago where they said like more animated stuff is coming. And I think it was more than just like one series.
Well, there's got to be another full-on animated series,
right?
Not just this Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Jedi, quick drops or Visions or whatever. They've got to have a new series.
And to me, like this is the way that it's looking. It's a perfect spot to split this series. Because the Bad Batch still has their own things to deal with, like the clones, more so. And if they're going to grow the character of Omega, I think she has to grow outside of them. That doesn't mean that you can't cross over or see, whatever.
Right. Yep.
But the way that I see it right now, But who knows?
I know a lot of people would love to have just a clone show, just a full-on clone dedicated show. That's something you could do.
I mean, there was one called the Clone Wars.
There was, but it was
not
more
that it was
than
really
just the clones.
dedicated to
that one season.
Or you know what? They can go that way. Why don't they just do like a full 22, 24 episode, whatever, and they just delve into the different stories again?
Yeah.
Because they can pick things back up, or because that's what the series did. I mean, God, it dealt with Jedi's, clones, the Empire, different characters, Asajj, everybody. Yeah. So.
Yep. Well, we will see. I'm interested to see how it turns out. I mean, I'm just wondering how far we're gonna get before they just say no. I mean, everybody is gonna load that episode up next week and immediately look at the runtime.
Oh yeah.
And if it says like 29 minutes, they're gonna go, motherfucker.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so you asked me. Let me ask you. How do you think this is going to wrap up? Out of those characters, do you think any are going to die that I don't think, or where do you think this is going to end? What is your specific speculation?
I think I'm pretty much on board with a lot of what you said. I mean, Omega has to get out and survive. I don't know if Emerie Carr makes it. I don't know if Rampart makes it. Those two are 50-50 for me. Because I could see themselves sacrificing them. Well, not Rampart. Well, that would be interesting. Maybe he does the whole you know what? Even though these guys basically shoved me around, the fucking way they were pushing him around the jungle every time. Like if he wasn't moving in the proper speed, one of them would just fucking smash him in the back. So maybe he's not going to be too sympathetic for them. But I don't know. I don't know if those two make it out. I think Hemlock makes it out just because they need him as a further storyline.
Is there going to be a big reveal with him?
Hemlock? Well. I'm going to bring that up in a second. There's a funny Maul Bag that we can get into in just a second, and that's going to talk about that. Yeah, I don't know. I just think we're going to get Crosshair's going to die. Emerie or Rampart might. I think Scalder might die. I think Tantus is going to get either blown up or the gear in it is just going to get totally wiped out in some fashion.
What if Hemlock, we find out, is already a clone of Palpatine?
Well, so, okay.
Oh. No, I mean it can't be, right? Because they would already have gone way too far into the cloning process for what we're.
See, you throw out random things, and then you start thinking about timelines, and you're like, that doesn't work at all. All right, let's do the Maul Bag real quick, and we can wrap up. Email number 1, Max Rebo Experience. This will make someone happy. I'm calling it now. Final episode of Bad Batch will have a post-credit scene where a Wookiee bounty hunter rips the arms off of Sid.
Yeah,
that checks out because those two Wookiees and Trandoshans can hate each other.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that would be magnificent. Could you imagine the shock of that? And literally they just show blood spurting out the armholes. God, I hope so.
I feel like this is like a plot thread. It ain't going to be an end credit sequence at this point.
No.
But because they don't do it. But this is a plot thread that's going to have to get picked back up.
We have to see her die.
Yeah.
Have to. Second email from Max Rebo Experience. I think he thought maybe we had already recorded. So he sent this one and said, I hope you had a satisfactory Bad Batch finale. Not yet.
Oh.
What if Hemlock and Crosshairs swapped hands? And that's why they're always having trouble with them. If so, and he used it to pleasure himself, would that make him gay? Not that there's anything wrong with that. You really get us, Max, with these questions. They do both grab that same hand. It's their right hand. So is it a right hand swapperoo?
What if when they run into each other, like
high five?
Right, but it becomes like a deathlock handshake. They want to go back to their bodies, or they have to fight each other.
Or it's an Evil Dead 2 thing. Like all of a sudden they're attacking the other guy with their own hand because they still have control over it with their brain. Like a full-on Star Trek. Da, 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 da. Oh, fuck. Please do that. Yeah, I don't know. There's something fishy about those hands. About both their hands, because they both do it, and Hemlock's got something weird going on that we don't know about him yet. I like your theory, and no, I think if your hand is removed and attached to somebody else, and they use it to jerk off, you're just jerking off.
Yep, with someone else's hand.
What is the thing they called it was one of those Kevin Smith movies, the Dutch rudder.
Oh, the double Dutch rudder.
Yeah, where you hold your dick and somebody moves your elbow.
Cranks the hand.
Yes, so you're not actually touching.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
It's the Death Star rudder.
Oh, we just got an episode title.
Death Star rudder?
Hemlock Crosshair Dutch rudder. Double Dutch rudder. All right, that's it. That's it for the show. Thank you.
That is it. Thank you so much for listening. And more than until next time, because next time we meet, we will be covering all of our speculations, what came true, what didn't. Last episode. We'll see you next week.
Laugh it up, fuzzballs.
We have spoken.